every episode of Buffy and tell you what they think about them. This is the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale, Season 3. Prose Bros Season 3. Prose Bros. Prose Bros Season 3. Prose Bros.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale. I am Jeff.
And I am Eddie Cruz.
And today we are doing Season 3, Episode 8, Lover's Walk.
Lovers walk away
Yeah.
from situations.
Is that a Cure song?
I don't know.
No, The Walk is.
The walk is,
Okay.
and Robert Smith is a lover.
Yeah.
He's not a hater.
He's definitely not a hater.
He's not a fighter. He's a lover.
He might be a crybaby.
Yeah, he's probably like
But we all
way
love him
too
for it.
attached.
We
Like,
love him for it.
Why won't you love me?
Yeah.
Is he British?
He
He's
is.
British, right? He'd be
Yeah,
like,
he's.
why don't you love me? I'm sorting awesome.
I'm not sure.
Check out my hair.
I'm not sure if that's how he sounds or not, but okay, that's cool.
I have a big wiener.
All right.
My weenus is huge.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Eddie, why don't you explain this episode to us?
With pleasure. It starts out with Xander and Willow talking SAT scores. Willow's flipping out about the fact that she got a 740 on the verbal, which is
Good.
a very
Great.
very close to a perfect score, which is 800. 60 off. And Xander gets mad at her because, not really mad at her, but states the fact that looks a lot like his combined score, which means that Xander did really poorly.
Well, should we mention our SAT scores?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
It's
It matters.
It's like Trump's tax returns. Like, I'm not going to say that live.
All right.
I got a low 1,000.
Me too. I think I got a mid 1,000, which isn't really that much better.
So you were closer to 11, and I was closer to even 1,000, which is just very average. We're very average. Guys, you already know this. We're very average people.
In our defense, it's not like we even try to study.
No, I drank a lot of Southern Comfort the night before with a very good friend of mine who I no longer speak to.
I played a show the night before. I didn't drink, but I don't know. I guess my ego was that big at the time. I thought I would do amazingly without studying and just walk in.
Oh, I
and
knew
do
I was
great.
going to fail. Like, I knew I was going to get a really bad grade, but I was like, good thing UTEP doesn't matter. Like, good thing UTEP doesn't check your grades.
I think I'd also been accepted to UTEP even before.
Yeah, I think I was accepted to UTEP, like, when I was in middle school.
They're like, you want to come here and give us money? Well, yeah, go
They're
ahead.
like, hey, you got $1,000? Hey, bro, you got, like, $50? Okay, you're in. Okay, here's some loans.
Which is going to take you 20 years to pay off.
Yeah, so you're going to owe us everything until you die
For your English degrees.
for your degree in English, your degree in bullshit.
Have fun, gentlemen.
Good luck out there, guys.
Have fun with your Buffy podcast, gentlemen, in 15 years.
Good luck making Buffy podcasts. I heard one of you is going to be a stock boy and the other one's going to fucking sell bicycles.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Fuck y'all.
Oh, okay. So, Willow and Xander are talking about the SATs.
I don't know. I want to keep talking about my life right now. It's fucking hard, man.
Yeah, we're not bitter.
Yeah, we're not bitter at all. So they keep talking about SATs. Cordelia comes up. Turns out she's brilliant. She did great. She got a good grade. And then Buffy shows up, and she's very, very worried about the fact that she did awesome. So she's like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? These tests don't prove anything." And then she shows Willow, and she's like, "Buffy, you did awesome. You got close to a perfect score."
Well, I think that means she was preparing herself to do the worst because she's already made up her mind. This is her path in life. She is a slayer. And now with this SAT score, it's a big deal because she has options.
Yeah. So essentially, she went from being the chosen one who's going to be a slayer till she dies slaying to possibly going to a good school.
And being able to do something more with her life.
Or at
which
least
is
have a
conflicting.
normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As normal as she can have.
Yeah. Like once in a while, kill a vampire, go home, make dinner.
Yeah. Sure.
Good stuff. I mean, she doesn't have to make dinner. Maybe her husband made dinner. It's a whole different, like...
Why does a woman have to make dinner, bro?
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Bro.
just saying. I make lettuce wraps all the time. And breakfast. Make a great brekkie. Yeah.
You can't say it right now, but you can make the shit out of
I
it.
can make the shit out of some brekkie. So Cordelia makes a statement of like, now you can go to school and get the hell out of Sunnydale. And Buffy's like, really? I didn't really think about that. And she's like, yeah, of course you want to leave. What moron would ever come back to Sunnydale? Enter Spike.
Yep.
Comes right back in. It turns nighttime. He crashes into the sign. He
Classic
gets out.
Spike entrance.
Classic. He's mourning. Apparently Drusilla left him. He's drunk off his ass. And he's back.
Well, do we know in that intro scene, all we know is that or does he say something about Drusilla? I don't remember if that happened.
He just is in a mourning state. You can tell that he's
fucking wasted.
He's wasted and cursing essentially something. Drusilla is no longer with him.
I guess that would be the obvious assumption.
Yeah. So he's hurt. He's drunk. We assume that Drusilla dumped him. We cut to Cordelia's locker, lined with a bunch of photos of her and Xander. Xander sees them. They start talking about the fact that he's locker material, right? That they're in a committed relationship while he's cheating on her with Willow.
And I think that's what we're to gather from that. He feels bad about it.
Cut to Willow, and Oz comes up and gives her a present. It's a Pez dispenser witch, and she makes a joke about getting a Wolfman Pez dispenser for him. And once again, we feel the same thing because she's cheating on him with Xander. Right? They're cheating on each other with each other, and it leaves their significant others looking really sad, and it's really shitty. And I wish they wouldn't have done it.
And I feel like up until this point, or even at this point, neither of them are very remorseful. They're all, we shouldn't do it, but then they keep putting themselves in situations where they're.
It's like they're remorseful, but at the same time they're still doing it. Yeah. So like you said, they're putting themselves in a position where they'll still continue to hang out and cheat. However, they are acting as if they can't help themselves, which is bullshit. You can take some personal responsibility and stop cheating on your loved one.
Yes.
Done. Boom. We just solved their issue.
All right.
Episode over, guys.
All right. See you later, Eddie.
See you later, man. Next week. We cut to Giles being super proud of Buffy, talking about the score and the implications of what it means.
Well, is he proud? Because I thought this was a scene where Buffy's downplaying it, and she's saying, yeah, my mom wants to do this, but I'm not going to be allowed to. And Giles is like, no, you definitely should.
I think he's proud. I think he's getting to the point for the first time where he's starting to think about her life with her. He's grown so attached to her that he now has an investment in her life, and her having a good life outside of slaying means something to him the way it would to a father.
Which is kind of awesome because in this scene he becomes more, and he has previously, but he's not the Watcher. He wants better for Buffy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not so much worried about her defeating evil as he is about her living her best life, the way Oprah would.
Plus, there is a second stringer in the background that nobody cares about.
Yeah, so we have the new Slayer that doesn't even show up in this episode. They talk about her future in this episode and what the future entails without even asking her or talking to her about it. He's just like, well, now that Faith is around, she's stupid. She's a moron. So she's obviously not going to go to college, right? We don't care about her college. We don't care about her going to school. We don't even care if she gets a GED. You go to school and you have your best life, and she'll take out the trash every night.
Which I'm going to say that's adding to this idea that Faith isn't a part of the Scoobies.
Absolutely not. Nobody really actually cares about Faith. Or, once again, she'd at least be living in Xander's shitty, underground apartment. The way that they even allowed Spike to live with him later. She's still living in that dingy motel room, gathering $48 a week to pay for it, dude.
Well, Xander kind of has his hands full with, two different girls. Mm-hmm. Would it really be the wisest decision to throw Faith in there at the same time?
I mean, he does.
Yes, but I think let's rewrite this story. they do throw Faith in there. He invites her. He just ends up sleeping with her, hooking up with her, and then he has multiple.
Let's play
issues.
a game. How is Faith making the money to pay for her apartment or her hotel? I'll give you three different occupations that she could be doing.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have a right answer. I just want to know what you think.
I thought you were going to ask my opinion. All right, but yeah, go ahead.
No. What are they?
I don't think she has an occupation. I think that she's just continuously sweet-talking the dude from the Scott Aukerman show.
Don't you think eventually she'd have to... No, never mind. I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, that sounds horrible. Like, eventually, she'd have to pay somehow.
I mean...
Yeah. You can't sweet talk forever, man. Right. So, what I was thinking is she's killing vampires and checking their pockets. And either pawning what they have and or finding money. Because vampires have to buy stuff, right?
Okay. I don't think that's a possibility. Because anytime a vampire gets dusted, they get dusted clothes and all. They don't drop a fucking wallet, man.
That's so bullshitty, man. That's so fucking bullshitty.
So
like,
she would have,
how do your clothes get dusted?
She would have to mug them before she dusted them.
Wouldn't it be awesome if their clothes just like stayed together, and when they were dusted, they turned into dust, and they're like Vans, jeans, and like t-shirt, just like we're still there.
That would create a massive problem in Sunnydale.
There'd just be all this clothes everywhere.
But
you could start that cheapskate, that uptown cheapskate.
It does make more sense that just their being would get dusted, and not like their wallet and their fucking keys.
This doesn't make any sense, man. Anyway, all right, so
fuck.
So we cut to Xander and Willow talking about cheating and how they want to stop, right?
Both Xander and Willow. Xander's talking to Willow about how they had like one or two indiscretions, but it's all over now. But they're still falling into the same trap where they want to touch each other, and I don't know, about to make out. I think Xander says something along the lines about like kissing her earlobe or something.
Yeah, she's like, "Can I suck your earlobe?" And she's like, "No, well, just a little bit." And then she grabs a Pez dispenser and like holds it up to him, like, Pez, Xander, he gave me Pez.
Which is kind of weird for Willow. I don't know how you feel about all this. Willow, for the most part, is like a super logical, smart person. Mm-hmm. Is this just like the whims of a teenager, or first love, or love clouding the mind, or at least lust?
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Wouldn't you think? I think
maybe the being deprived of having relationships that are sexual for so long will make somebody ultra-sexual, yeah.
I don't think Oz is giving it up either.
No, not yet. And if he is, he's not very good at it, probably.
Probably.
No, maybe he has a micro pee-pee.
I don't know.
I don't either. Let's call him over here. Pull those pants down. So we cut to Spike, and he's stalking Angel, which is really weird. Stalking Angel, super drunk. He's like narrating Angel's life, gets super wasted, and passes out on top of a gravestone. Well,
I think it would at least make sense that, I don't know about stalking, but to me it makes sense that he would go to that location because they have a shared experience with Drusilla.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're like, if you're drunk and you're sad and you're kind of in a state of mourning because you went through a breakup, I guess that's a form of comfort.
Yeah, it's also the sweetest spot to squat in town, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you go check, you're assuming the Angel's dead, maybe. Or, like, you don't know what happened at this point, right? Angel could be gone, and that could be your sweet apartment in the middle of the graveyard.
Yeah, it's like, hey, nobody's here. I'm going to fucking squat there.
I'm going to go do Tai Chi in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know Spike gets down with some Tai Chi.
No, fuck no, he doesn't.
Of course he doesn't.
So he drinks too much and then passes out.
When he wakes up, he's on fire.
It's a nice little scene, the sunrise. He's in the courtyard.
You see his hand come ablaze. He flips out. This episode is the best characterization of Spike, and this is where you really do fall in love with Spike as a character. You start really getting a sense of who he is, and the comical sadness that is Spike, the puppy you want to keep around, really starts coming out, I think, from here on in.
Yeah, we got a little bit of the whole puppy dog thing, but I think what makes this episode great is he's still dangerous. You have that like you named it, the puppification of Spike. But he hits home, and we'll get to this later in the episode, hits home these truths, and he always has done that.
So speaking of dangerous, he goes to the magic shop, and he's looking for a curse. He's looking for something so he can place a magical curse on Drusilla, because that's where his mind goes, to revenge. And Willow walks in. Willow's looking for an anti-delusting spell, and she talks to the magic box owner, and when the magic box owner comes back to Spike and is like, I don't sell curses, he grabs her, bites her, tells her that he's got a different plan now, and then leaves following Willow.
Speaking of the magic shop, they charged Willow like 15 fucking bucks for a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming a lot of this stuff is rare. Mm-hmm. Amazon is around, but it's not. There's no Amazon Prime. Shouldn't they have a higher markup on shit if
I would
they
assume
want to
that their
be...
markup would have been higher. I also assume that it's just not a good business to open. You know, that's why you got to sell whoopee cushions and fake magic things for kids, because you have very little to no consumer base.
And chances are half of your consumer base, if not more, are going to be evil. So why not mark up the shit of all your prices?
Why not sell curses?
You may not even live past this year being the magic box owner.
Absolutely.
So.
Like, your chances of survival are, I think, about 10%. And, I mean, that's if you're Giles. So, obviously he kills her, and he walks off after Willow. We cut to the mayor playing golf, right?
And he's practicing putting in his office.
Yeah, he's got one of those little cups that you putt into, a little putt-putt at home. Putt. And,
which I think is like a cliche. That's such a businessman, politician thing to do.
Yeah.
What could we have the mayor doing?
While
Practice.
he talks,
yeah.
Right? So he's talking to his lackey and talking about Spike and about essentially who Spike is. They reveal the fact that they watched Spike and everything he did in season 2.
I did like that. It made it seem more okay for everything to happen in the previous seasons.
I think also this scene was a little. It didn't really need to be there. If you took it out, nobody would have noticed, except for they're building up the mayor's reputation, right? They're showing that he has been around this whole time, and he has been watching everything, and he has been in charge of everything. And he sends out his lackey to solve the Spike situation, right?
Does he?
He says, go take care of the Spike situation, which I'll get to later.
Okay.
And explain how he did.
Okay, because I didn't see...
I mean, his lackey essentially just tipped off a bunch of vampires that wanted to kill Spike about where Spike was.
Okay, that makes sense. I totally didn't make that connection.
I had never made that connection until now. But the mayor tells him, what'd he say? Get together, not a convention. He essentially says, get together a group of guys to go take care of the Spike situation.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is something that had always just passed over my head. I'd never, ever considered the mayor to have done that.
Yeah, me too. I thought that conversation ended with him being like, okay, we'll keep an eye on him. And that's it.
Yeah. No. He said, you go solve that Spike situation.
Okay.
We cut back to Angel and Buffy, and they meet, and she tells...
Tai Chi.
No Tai Chi.
Fuck.
No Tai Chi. S-A-T.
Oh, okay.
No Tai Chi. So she's telling him about how she did on the test, about how she now has the ability to leave, and she has the ability to go make a life somewhere and go to college. And he's like, college, huh? College is for losers, because he's super old school.
He doesn't know what college is.
Yeah.
He's like, you should learn a trade.
And she implies that the only thing really keeping him in Sunnydale is him, right?
Yes.
She's like, she doesn't say it directly, but she's like, there's also one other reason not to leave.
Well, I think both of them know what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm. But none of them want to admit it.
Yeah, and even Angel, I think that scene is there because he's not, in my opinion, trying to be a dick, but he is pushing her away because he wants her to do something better. Mm-hmm. But it's complicated because he still really loves her.
Yep. So they have that conversation that leads nowhere. We cut back to Xander and Willow while Willow is doing a spell to delust each other. So Xander comes in and he's like, "You're not doing a love spell, are you?" And she's like, "I'm doing a delusting spell."
By the way, were they all going to meet in the chemistry lab at Sunnydale? Was that the meeting point?
I think they were, them two.
Okay.
Right?
And then meet up at there's a bowling alley in Sunnydale.
There's a bowling alley
there
later.
We go.
So they were all going to end up bowling that night. And that's what sparked their whole conversation. She's like, "Bowling's too sexy. We might put each other's fingers in each other's holes in our balls." Bowling balls, that is. So Spike shows up out of nowhere and knocks Xander the fuck out.
The fuck out.
The fuck out.
For like 20 minutes, it feels like 15
coma
at
problems.
least.
We have some serious brain damage. If somebody got knocked out, if they're not awake in the next 5 minutes, you should call an ambulance because they're probably in a coma.
I like how peacefully everybody in Sunnydale gets knocked out. It's none of that like stiff snoring like that you see when fighters get knocked out.
Absolutely.
Like in MMA.
It's not like that like close to dead look.
He didn't get knocked out like Pacquiao.
Oh, gosh. Jesus Christ. Oh, he'll never be the same again.
Xander or Pacquiao?
Pacquiao. Xander will be fine. He kind of turns into more of a dick if that's possible, but Spike knocks him out. He's knocked out for a while, and then he starts threatening Willow. He's like, "You're going to make a spell for me." And she's like, "A love spell?" He's like, "No." Or yes. He's like, "Make her fall in love with me again." About Drusilla. And then he drunkenly opens up about Drusilla, about what happened, about how she just threw him to the curve. He's like, you can't do that. I've got an unlife to live. I've got an unlife. Is that what he says? Unlife to live? And she says, "Maybe we can be friends." So essentially she threw him to the curve and makes him feel like a bitch. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could say like a bitch, but he even says it later on.
Yeah,
that
he loves bitch. She moved on, and she no longer loves him, and she's still his everything.
I do like how this whole episode is very cathartic for Spike. Mm-hmm. He's
it's
not
like the
trying
only
to...
one that made it out having learned something.
Yeah,
he's truly the protagonist in this episode.
And he's not trying to hurt anybody. He's
No.
trying to get,
haphazardly he will hurt people.
Because he's evil.
He's evil, yeah.
But he's just going through something, and he doesn't really have friends.
No.
So it's fucking hilarious that he would come back to his, air quote, friends.
His mortal enemies, if you will, and treat them as...
Shoulder to cry on.
Yeah. He essentially forces him to be his shoulder to cry on.
Well, some of them.
Yeah.
We'll get to somebody who's not forced into it in a bit.
So Willow agrees to do the spell, and Buffy starts talking to her mom.
So can I say this about that scene with Willow and Spike? He's using her as a shoulder to cry on, but he's still evil, and he even makes this comment that it's implied rape. I'm assuming, where he's like, "I haven't had
A woman in a while, unless you count the shopkeeper.
And they're talking, at first you think they're talking about nourishment, like he's going to drain her blood, but that's not what I thought he meant. And that's like kind of that's fucked up.
He's evil, man.
Yeah.
He's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
And Angel has implied doing worse things to people too. These two aren't good people.
That was the implication, right?
Anti-heroes. I think so. It's
Okay.
just like when he calls Angel a poof later.
Yeah.
He's a fucking dick. He's an evil dick who wants to kill you and maybe have sex with your dead body.
Yes.
Yeah. So Buffy starts talking to her mom, and Spike shows up, right? So we cut away.
Well, Buffy's not there yet.
No, she's on the phone.
Yes.
And she called her mom, essentially, and she's like, "Hey, Mom, blah, 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 yeah, college, everything's cool." And then Spike shows up, and she hangs up the phone and runs home. We cut to the commercial, and when we get back from commercial, we assume the worst for Joyce. But the fact is that Spike is opening up to her now and telling her about Drusilla and how he left him. Really, Spike comes off very pathetic in this episode.
Yeah.
Right? He's looking for anybody to talk to about his woes. And it just so happens that the people he's talking to are his mortal enemy's mothers.
Well, like you have said that there's this relationship between, and one
like,
of your favorites in the series between Spike and Joyce.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really know. She knows he's evil, a vampire, but she doesn't really know if he's that much more different or better than Angel. She doesn't
We find out
understand.
later that he has incredible mommy issues that are obvious. So this is part of that, I think. I think that he feels the most comfortable around mothers, around motherly women. And he feels like he can open up to her the way maybe he did with his mother.
But it's a great scene, and it's something that Angel has never had with Joyce and will never have.
No. As a matter of fact, Angel shows up, and he can't come in because Spike was actually invited in before he left town. So when he comes back into town, he can still come in. Angel gets to the door, he can't come in, and Joyce is calling him names and stuff, and he's reassuring her that Spike is evil while Spike is behind her making faces.
Like mocking.
Yeah, mocking him.
And not even intentionally
you're a bad man. You're
Yeah.
a bad man. And then like making like sneering faces at Joyce. Like just essentially, mocking Angel, turning Angel impotent.
Because he could have like had his vampire fangs out and done something, but he like faked that in like a very comical way to be a fuck you, Angel.
But it turns out that Buffy can run really fucking fast because then she shows up and she pins Spike and invites Angel in, and Joyce is just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Who's good? Who's evil? What's going on? They tell her Spike's evil now, Angel's good again, and Angel's in a brown coat.
So, yeah, he is. So we've shit all over Joyce for being a poor mother, among many other things. But from her perspective, why wouldn't she believe or trust Spike? And
There's
Angel,
just that one time where he was about to kill her daughter, and she knocked him out.
oh yeah, I guess she didn't remember that. It's dark.
He reminded her of it the first time they talked.
All right, well there you go. There's that. Then
That
right
honesty,
back that
yeah.
honesty where even Angel with the soul was sneaking around with her underage daughter.
Yeah, 250-year-old coming back.
So I'm going to side with Joyce. Why wouldn't she trust Spike over this like fucking creepy dude? Whether or not he's a vampire or not, he's clearly older.
Yeah.
And studying with Buffy.
Yep, I completely agree. So we cut to Oz and Cordelia, and they're searching for Willow and Xander, right? And Oz stops and smells outside the truck, and he can apparently smell Willow when he's a human.
Which, bullshit.
Yeah.
Because if he can smell Willow that far away, why would he not be able to smell Xander on Willow? I guess that is semantics of the episode.
Yeah,
or
it's
episodes.
true. And later he can smell Willow on Tara. Remember that episode?
Uh-huh.
So you could obviously say that, hey, have you been kissing Willow? And maybe it's just because they're around together a lot.
Sure.
That he assumes that, sometimes they hug and stuff. Maybe that's what he is.
They hug and stuff.
Yeah, and stuff.
Sometimes they hug and stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just, hugging and hand stuff.
Or how about this? He's just a trusting individual.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He trusts her. He loves her. And he shouldn't. Angel and Buffy have kidnapped Spike at this point, and they take him, essentially to go find their friends.
Yeah, because they know that Spike has revealed at a certain point that he has Willow, and they need to go along with it, or else.
If I had been them, I would have first checked the mansion and the factory, because that's where the bad guys always are. So before you let Spike take you around. I think that's why they added the initiative underground, because they had been at the factory and the mansion so often. They're like, we can't just keep on putting it in the factory and the mansion.
Yeah, check the obvious.
Yeah, check
first.
the obvious before you have Spike take you around town. So Spike is drunk, tells them he needs to pick up some stuff at the magic box. They go in, and he just drops a big bottle of truth on them.
Yeah.
It's like a truth bomb. And just say, like, you guys aren't friends. You'll always be in love. And he's like, I may be love's bitch, but at least I'm man enough to admit it. Can I try an accent? But it'd probably be horrible.
I mean, it hasn't stopped you before.
I may be love's bitch, but at least I'm man enough to admit it. Yeah? Yeah? Pretty good?
That felt like Forrest Gump trying to do Spike.
I was actually going for Spud from Trainspotting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah? All right. Well. I might be love's bitch. No, I can't do bitch. Yeah, whatever. Either way.
But I love that part, because that's the crux of the episode, and it makes, like you said, us love as an audience Spike even more, because he knows things that, or at least says things that nobody else is willing to admit. And I'm getting kind of tired of Buffy and Angel dancing around this myself. It's funny that it takes Spike to bring this out.
Yeah, and he's the perfect caveat to do it. He's the perfect, like... Catalyst to do it. So they hear this and they have no response, right? Like, essentially, he says that, and they're, like, floored. And then we cut to Willow and Xander, and they're locked in the factory. And she makes that known. She says, oh, we're here in the factory. The factory, not a factory. So we know there's only one factory in Sunnydale.
God, there's got to be more than one.
We're here in the middle of nowhere in the factory. Little does she know that the bronze is just right around the corner. Just right around. You can walk there.
I thought it was on the other side.
Yeah. You don't need a car in Sunnydale. You don't. Apparently you can teleport. But whatever. So they start making out. Like, one thing leads to another. They start talking.
Xander comes to after his God knows how long.
He can't stand up.
Concussion.
He can't use his arms. Like,
and this is something serious.
Yeah,
I thought
serious.
in the episode, like, he's like, I feel dizzy and I'm kind of nauseous. That's a serious fucking concussion,
yeah,
dude.
that's a serious concussion. And he was in a micro coma. Like, he was in a coma for a few hours. Like, you don't get knocked out and stay knocked out for hours. That's called a coma. As soon as you pass 5 minutes, you are now in a coma. A short coma. So he comes out of his coma and has a serious concussion. And the first thing he wants to do with blood all over his face is make out with Willow.
Okay, well, I'm going to blame Willow for this almost entirely.
Yeah.
Because if he's this knocked out, if he's nauseous and can't think straight...
Like, number one, why are you attracted to that?
I don't know why she's going forward with that. And does he even have, like, the mental capacity to think straight at this point?
I don't think so. But neither does she. They make out. As soon as they start making out, Oz and Cordelia find them finally from their scent and open the door, come down the stairs.
Where did they come from? That same door?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I
guess...
guess...
a side door? It seemed like a side door.
It feels like weird... I don't know the blueprints of the factory.
It seems fucked up.
Of course
it didn't seem right.
Of course it is. So they come down the stairs, and Cordelia, like, sneaking down the stairs, they get all the way down the stairs. Cordelia and him see them making out. Cordelia freaks out, runs back up the stairs. One of the steps gives way. She falls into a barbed pole.
Yeah, she gets impaled by
like a rusty metal pole. It looks horrible. It looks like it went right through her liver. Right?
Or at the very least, her lung.
Yeah. Through some part of the middle of her torso. We see Xander jumping down there to save her, but what can he do? He can't take her off that without her dying immediately. So he's just down there to try to talk to her. She says, I can't see you, and then passes out. We cut to Angel, Buffy, and Spike, and a group of vampires who essentially, Spike maybe fucked over the last time he was in town, and we're now back to lay down the law on him.
That's what I assumed, but I guess it's like
actually
the
they've
mayor's
been
assistant.
called by the mayor's assistant, go take care of Spike. So they have a huge gang of fucking vampires against Spike, Buffy, and Angel. Battle Royale. They start fighting. They end up beating all the vampires, killing all of them.
Not all of them.
Well, scaring off half and killing half.
Yeah.
They end up inside the magic shop and essentially save Spike's life, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of that, Spike essentially says, you know what? Saw the spell. Your friends are at the factory. Let me try it again. It sold the spell. Your friends are at the factory. Yeah? Huh? Pretty good?
I think that's a little more William Wallace-y, but you're getting closer. Getting closer.
Changing, huh?
Yeah.
Fucking love me some Mel Gibson. So he tells him, I don't really care about the spell anymore. Killing all these vampires has made me feel better. Getting all this shit off my chest has made me feel better. Your friends are at the factory. I'm going to do what I should have done in the first place. I'm going to go to Drusilla, and I'm going to kill a bunch of people and give them to her as a present. Or something like that.
Yeah, make her fall in love with the, I guess, original Spike.
Right?
Like, do what I did to make her fall in love originally.
We cut to Cordelia passed out and Xander essentially holding her, and we then cut to a funeral. And the viewer can assume that that's Cordelia's funeral
Yeah.
in a way or two. And we pan down, and actually Buffy and Willow are walking and talking to each other about what happened.
Cordelia's okay. Like,
And yeah, like
that's
right off the bat, the first thing they say is, Cordelia's okay.
dark
Yes.
and fucking hilarious at the same time.
Super dark, super funny. Willow points out the fact that Oz is no longer speaking to her. Xander and Cordelia, Xander still loves Cordelia or whatever. Cordelia's okay. She's at the hospital. And everything is okay as far as their health, but all their relationships are shattered.
Well, minus Cordelia physically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, she still has a big hole in her torso.
Which is like a double fucked up for her.
Yeah.
Everyone else just has to deal with emotional ailments. She has to deal with physical and emotional.
To be honest, like they then cut to the hospital and show Cordelia just staring out into nothingness. Maybe that's just the good drugs. What were the drugs they gave you?
Demerol.
Demerol. Maybe she was on Demerol and staring off into nothingness was fun. But she was just staring at the fucking wall when Xander came in. She wasn't asleep. She wasn't any kind of like reading a magazine. She didn't have anybody in the room.
No, because she had a full sentence. If she were on Demerol, she would have started at that.
Oh, yeah, I remember
and then
that.
just like kind of zoned out. And then Xander would be all, Cordy.
I remember when I was visiting you, I'd be like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, Eddie, man. And that would be it. Like, you'd be back out, and I'd be like, I brought you a magazine that you probably won't read, you junkie.
Hey, that's fucked up. But what does that say about the healthcare system in general? That you get way more fucked up on better drugs than anything you can find off of some dude randomly.
No, I mean, I guess that means they got the good shit.
Yes.
You shouldn't do drugs. Kids, don't do drugs. So he visits her, brings her flowers. He starts telling her how sorry she is, and she just goes, Xander? And he goes, yes. And she says, leave me alone. Don't ever come here again. I fucking hate you. You're out of my life. And rightfully so, right?
Yeah, I mean,
The dude fucked up. He finally got the girl of his dreams, really. And he cheated on her. And
I'm
she
gonna
has
play
no time on that.
devil's advocate for just this episode, not
Not
excusing any
every
of this.
other episode where you've talked mad shit about him.
No, just I'm just gonna say, motherfucker was so concussed. Like I'm gonna put that shit on Willow this episode.
Okay. This is all Willow's fault.
It's like a fighter who gets concussed and goes into muscle memory and
Okay.
starts swinging. I feel like he got concussed, went into muscle memory, and it's like start making out with like whoever is in front of you. It might be Willow.
I just gotta disagree with this one. But, okay. You got that devil's advocate in there. Like you got your wonky little defense there.
All right, it's wonky. It's not in the episode.
And it's not what you actually believe.
No, but motherfucker was concussed. Are we just ignoring the fact that all these people are getting
Cordelia
this
got
concussed?
a bar through her torso after seeing her boyfriend cheat on her with her good friend.
Yes. I don't know what. Were you expecting me to disagree with the plot? Like, I don't know. That happened, yes.
So essentially that's the end of their relationship. Buffy visits Angel and tells him, hey, Spike was right, and I'm never coming back here again. It's over between us two. I can't pretend like I'm not in love with you. I can't pretend to be friends. I can't keep coming here and acting like I can be a part of your life without being every part of your life. I need you. You are my water. I have to leave the well. Whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty
poetic
But
on your part.
meantime, I'm making that O hand with one hand and the finger hand with the other one and penetrating one with the other because she's afraid of boning Angel, right? She's afraid of him turning evil again.
Was that? I think.
Well, that's the whole reason why they can't be together,
I
right?
think that's a possibility. No, I don't think so.
Because the spell's technically no longer on him, is it?
I think it's painful for both of them to be around each other because their lives are moving, at least in this episode, I would say their lives are moving in different directions. And there's still the big elephant in the room of everything you did while you were evil. Yes, you weren't yourself. It's like almost like an alcoholic.
See, I don't see that. I see it as them worried about him turning evil again because of their relationship.
Then that makes their relationship solely about sex. And I don't feel that's...
No, I don't think it's about sex. It's about the matter that if they stay together, he will become truly happy and then will turn evil. I don't think it has to be sex.
I definitely think that's part of it, but I don't think that... I think it's difficult for them, and part of the reason is an intimacy thing. They can never be intimate, but there's so much baggage. It becomes a relationship where there's so many issues, you don't even know what to fucking talk about first or deal with first.
Yeah.
What are they going to... If we just say this is a normal relationship and it's not, them getting back together, where do they even start?
Yeah, I agree.
You tortured my father figure. You killed one of my teachers who I may or may not have liked.
You're 250 years old, and actually with the Hell Dimension stuff, you're probably closer to 400 by now, and you're dating a 16-year-old. 17, sorry.
Well, I think that's the thing she cares about the least.
She's like James Wood's girlfriend. He's like James Wood.
Does he have a super young girlfriend?
Yeah. He dated like a... What was it? A 21-year-old when he's 60? He did that twice after dumping his wife.
Okay, well, people can do it.
Yeah, but he's a piece of shit, so fuck you, James Wood.
I don't know enough about James Wood to
Trust
call him
me.
a piece of shit.
No, he's like, if you're my homie, you don't like James Wood. It's like one of those, like in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I'm joking.
Okay, yeah,
I don't
so
care. You can like James Wood if you want. Videodrome was awesome.
fuck James Wood.
Fuck James Wood.
I got your back, Eddie.
Thanks, bro.
All right.
Anyway.
We're talking about Buffy and then the themes of it. I think we touched on this throughout the whole episode. Initially, I thought one of the big themes was going to be preparing for college. Mm-hmm. But that almost just becomes something as an excuse to talk about the future, because that's essentially what's happening with Buffy and Angel. Mm-hmm. They need to prepare for the future. The real theme of this is different stages of love, or love in general.
Yeah, I would say I completely agree with that.
We have all the Scoobies. I guess we'll include for this episode
essentially
Spike as a
not
Scooby.
just love, but love ending, right?
Yeah.
So we have a cheating couple, we have a couple that want to be together but can't, and then a guy that gets dumped. Mm-hmm. So just different stages of being of a relationship ending. Yeah.
It's funny that Spike seems like the most natural. I guess ending because of a cheating relationship.
His relationship is definitely number one, the longest, And in a weird fucking way, it was the healthiest. Right?
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't cheat on each other. It was just basically they changed.
They didn't
and
have to kill
broke
each
up.
other.
They
Yeah.
didn't have to. At the end, she said, we can still be friends, and that tore them apart. But, no. So right after they come to that conclusion that Buffy's never going to be with Angel again, we cut to a sad montage. Oh, sad montage. Everybody's so sad. And we get Angel sad. We get Willow sad. We get Buffy sad. We get Xander sad. Cordelia staring off at the wall again on Demerol. And then we cut to Spike. And he is fucking happy driving away in his... What kind of car?
It's a DeSoto, a 57 DeSoto.
In his 57 DeSoto, singing My Way, covered by Sid Vicious. So, what do you think about the episode overall?
I loved this episode.
I thought it was great, right?
Yeah.
Especially once again after a shitty episode, they have Band Candy, awesome episode, Revelations, and now we have Lover's Walk, amazing episode.
I think I might like this even more than Band Candy.
I agree with you. It was a delight. It flew by. It felt like a 15-minute episode to me. It was awesome.
You get a lot from Spike just being real, and he's able to connect with Buffy and Joyce on a level that Angel can't, which I think is amazing. Mm-hmm. You also get, aside from that, it's amazing characterization.
Mm-hmm. This is the episode where if you don't like Spike, you will now. This is a great episode.
Do you know anybody who doesn't, though?
Who doesn't like Spike?
Yeah.
People that haven't watched the show?
All right, that's ridiculous.
I don't know. There's so few of us Buffy fans out there.
Neo-Nazis.
Neo-Nazis probably don't like him.
Trump supporters.
That's not true. There's an alt-right Buffy website. It's awesome. It's like Buffy, Pepe the Frog memes. They never do wrong. I'm just fucking joking.
I was like...
Fuck all Nazis. Punch them all in the face.
I was like, wow, that's amazing. I was like, is this a site you frequent?
That'd be really fucked up.
One thing we didn't mention that I also thought was great, I really enjoyed the fight scene in the Magic Box, and it was nice to see Buffy, Angel, and Spike all fighting on the same side against a unified evil front, even though it's not really good versus evil, but it seems that way.
Yeah, and I also really like the fact that Buffy and Angel have to fight to save Spike's life.
Yeah,
that was great. The whole characterization of this episode was all Spike all the time. It was an episode made to make you love him, and
except
it worked.
there is that one part, and we're all sucking Spike's dick here. He did a great performance, but we like this character, although he did threaten to rape one of the main characters.
Yeah, and called Angel a poof, implying that being a poof is bad. But, butt sex is awesome. Poof sounds horrible, too.
Do you think poof sounds worse than the FAG word?
No, that's an awful word, which makes me really enjoy using it because it's so mean that's why people go to the word fuck and the F word for homosexuals, because they have such a mean intonation.
But you can say fuck, and fuck is not going to demean something based on...
that's why we can still say fuck. Yeah. But it just is one of those words that just worked. Poof doesn't work in that way, but it sounds mean, right?
Poof is funny. I think poof is hilarious.
Yeah, it sounds like a fart.
I want to start saying poof unless I realize it's that
I think it is
up.
that fucked up.
Really?
It's just that fucked up, not here.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't say poof.
Any poofs out there, let me know if I'm wrong.
Every time I say poof, I just think about farting and just going poof.
Well, if you were reading a comic book, it would,
poof.
If you're reading a comic book and the character farted, it would say poof in the little
probably
fart class.
It'd be POOF.
Yeah. That's poof?
Okay. I thought it was spelled different in British.
How would you spell How would you spell a British poof?
Pouf, like color.
You, all right, nobody can tell what I'm doing, but I gave Eddie.
A look of just utter disgust. Anyway, how many deaths, Jeff?
Okay, so there was a decent amount of deaths. Buffy kills 2 deaths. Buffy kills 2 deaths. Let me start over. Fuck, man. Buffy kills 3 vampires, 2 at the same time, which is fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. Spike kills 1 vampire, and he kills 1 human, the magic shop owner. Mm-hmm. So 5 deaths in total, 3 by Buffy and 2 by Spike. Angel was unable to kill anybody this episode, including a vampire.
No, but he killed it with that brown coat he was wearing.
Yeah. Do you think Joss Whedon was all like, fuck, I really want this to become a thing, but it's not working for Angel. I'll make another show.
He was like, I'm writing this fucking awesome script right now, and I can't stop thinking about it. Can you put a brown jacket on him?
Not only that...
Brown coat, sorry. Can you put a brown coat on him?
Not only that, making brown coat a fucking theme.
Yeah.
That's
pretty good.
That man likes his coats.
He does like some coats.
Here's a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that it's how he would want it to dress in high school?
I think he would have loved to look like Angel in high school. I really doubt that
even
Joss
with his
Whedon,
shitty pecs?
Yeah, even with his shitty pecs, I think that Joss Whedon would have loved to look like Angel or David Boreanaz in high school. Yeah, I would have too. I would love to look like him now. Probably would have gotten that job I got interviewed for today.
Oh, come on.
Super hot guy in a brown coat or black, whatever. Trench coat in summertime.
Although I do think the more attractive you are, the more able you are to get jobs.
Oh, duh. Yeah, 100%. Like from
duh.
like from prostitutes to CEOs, you're 100% correct.
All right. Hey, what's the next episode?
The next episode is The Wish.
The Wish.
The Wish. And we're going to do a different format for that episode. We're going to try something new. It is the season of 5x5.
Yeah.
We're just going to try this. Maybe it's not going to work. You know, maybe it will work. Maybe we'll switch off. Maybe we'll go back from giving you guys the complete plot summary, but we're kind of sick and tired of that. And I know that you guys are too. So all 7 of you are tired of us giving you the full plot synopsis every
Basically,
week.
Eddie has a full-time job. I have a full-time job. Eddie has a kid. I'm going to school. We don't want any more work than we have to do.
No more work.
And we want to be able to drink and not remember stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to have to tell you everything that happened in the episode. So I'm just going to pick 5 things. And Jeff's going to pick 5 things. And we're going to compare our 5 things. And we'll probably still give you a short summary at the beginning, but it'll be a very skeletal, very quick over summary about what's going on.
And chances are it's going to be more than 5 things. And we're going to totally fall apart.
The chances are that our podcast just turned into an hour and a half podcast to maybe a 2-hour podcast. And we'll switch this back to normal the week after that. Who knows? We're just going to try new things. So stay with us, listeners. Stay with us.
Yeah.
And go down this rabbit hole with us.
So The Wish.
The Wish. Anya's introduced.
Yeah. First appearance of Anya.
Right?
She comes to Cordelia, who is a scorned woman. She's the demon of scorned lovers, scorned female lovers.
I mean, I guess she give herself that title. It's not really something that, essentially she's a vengeance demon, but she kind of focused on scorned lovers.
But that's what we find out later. Yeah.
Either way. So she grants Cordelia's wish of never allowing Buffy to come to Sunnydale, which turns the world into a surprisingly bad place.
Yeah.
And also a great episode.
I think it's a good episode. Is it great?
I mean, if we're talking about top 10, I would assume this one's at least in the latter half of that.
Oh, wow. I'm going to say this is good.
It's another
better
world.
Than Revelations.
It brings the world spell into it, outside of Ethan Raines, and it created more
It's like a Sliders episode.
Yeah, it's like a Sliders episode, and also, the characters it created, number one, return, and number two, all got their own action figures even.
And this is the one where everybody is a vampire, right?
Yeah, well, not everybody, but we
Well-
get to see Vampire Willow, we get to see Vampire Xander, and then when we have the White Coats, and the White Coats, right? The White Coats
Are different than the
White
brown
Rabbit?
coats.
No, the White Coats are the White Rabbits or whatever. I don't know. They call themselves that. White Hats, and it's Oz, Giles. And,
Okay, yeah.
And they're fighting for good.
Oh yeah, it's a
I would
Probably
say-
better than this.
I would say that it's way better than Revelations.
Yes.
I would say that it's on par with this episode or better in my eyes. I'm looking forward to this. I think that you are downplaying how awesome this episode is. We also see the return of Harmony, which is awesome.
yeah Harmony.
Yeah. Our Harmony's great.
Can't believe you remembered that. That's
It took me a while.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, hey Jeff, I'm not going to do any kind of riddle or anything, so just say it.
5x5, be. That's a Cure song?
Yeah. Monday, it's kind of small. Tuesday, it can hide inside me. Wednesday, I can't find it sometimes, but... Hey, so Jeff, what was Lover's Walk about?
I'm not sure, but I know you'll tell me.
Oh, fuck. Let's do this again.
I wanted to keep that. What's this guy doing here?
Why don't you give yourself a clean one where you ask me what this is about?
All right. Sex Pistols.
Is it Sex Pistol? I thought it was Sid Vicious.
No, Sid
was his-
Vicious.
His single.
I'm not sure if he even recorded anything with the band before he died, but that's
No,
at
he
least-
had a solo album before he died.
No, Johnny Rotten.
No, Sid Vicious had a solo album before he died.
But I don't
And
think did he record anything with the Sex Pistols?
And he did. I don't know if he recorded anything with the Sex Pistols, but after they broke up, he released his solo album and then killed Nancy or didn't, or I don't know. But basically and that My Way track was with another band. All he did was sing in that band. I'll show you after we're done here. And
Okay.
if I'm wrong, we'll correct it in the next episode.
I'm almost positive, at least, that My Way is Johnny Rotten singing, though.
Okay. We'll find out, and we either will or will. You know what? You Google it, listener. We don't have to do shit for you. Be a part of this with us. Go ahead and Google whether or not it was Sid Vicious
Should
or
we give
the Sex Pistols.
Should
or
we give
Nirvana.
listeners homework?
Yeah.
I'm going to give a specific listener homework. Hey, Joey, please let us know
Who
when you
did
listen
what?
to this.
Yeah, when you listen to this, text us immediately. Let us know, and then we'll know. But we probably won't update anybody else. So, Joey, thank you very much for doing that.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, now that Faith of the why can't I say her name?